Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here, and it's been a crazy week. We have a new 5K world record on the track to celebrate. That's right, 23-year-old Joshua Cheptegei went out on Monaco, of all tracks, you know how much I love that track, went out and ran a new world record. This world record had stood for 16 years by Kenenisa Bekele. He went out and he crushed it by almost 2 seconds. We're gonna watch that race. I'm gonna give you some behind the scenes information about Monaco, the track, maybe what was going through Cheptegei's head as he was attacking this record, and give you my reaction as he runs 12:35. That's about 4:03 pace for 3.1 miles. All right, without further ado, let's press play. And here we are at the Monaco Diamond League. Now, normally Monaco is just this incredible atmosphere. It's warm, it's humid, the track is so fast. I actually ran several of my fastest 800s from this track. And when the athletes show up, they know that they have a chance to do something special. So here they are. You'll notice a lot of them in this really great Nike kit, right? So the green and the blue, literally over half the field is in that kit. This is a world championship final caliber field. They're all wearing that kit. It's not that they're teammates, it's that they're all sponsored by Nike. So they wear the same kit. Every year Nike comes out with a new elite kit. This green and blue, I'm not sure what they're going for there. This green and blue top, that's the elite kit for 2020, it appears. Now Cheptegei, he's got a one in black and white. That doesn't mean that he's not sponsored by Nike. You'll see it's the exact same cut, it's the same pattern, but typically Olympic medalists, or Olympic gold medalists and world leads, I believe that's the rule, they get to wear what's called like the gold colorway. In this case, it's black and white, and it sets him apart so that people watching know that he's done something special, and he has, right? He ran that 5K world record earlier, the 10K world record on the road earlier. This is going to be a special performance. I actually haven't watched it yet, so I'm super excited to be watching this with you guys. Here they go, they're going to toe the line. Now he does have some rabbits. That's one of the advantages of going for a world record in a race like this. The meet director will hire professional runners to come out and rabbit him, to help him set the pace, to make it easier on him to lead, or not have to lead, as much of this race as possible. That's not something you can do in a championship setting, whether that's, you know, a World Championships or an Olympic Games. Of course, there are no rabbits. So this is really set up for Joshua Cheptegei to go out and have a very legitimate crack at the world record. Now, looking at it right now, I would say he has 3 rabbits. It appears 1, 2, 3, the 3 guys ahead of him. Those are the rabbits. They have a pace that they're supposed to hit. I imagine in this case, because he needs to run 4:03, they're probably supposed to hit 60s, you know, as close to 60s with some change. So, you know, 60.9, 60.8. They're probably supposed to be dialed on that pace perfectly. And you'll see how it strings out. That's what you want. You don't want to be bunched up in a pack, you know, elbows hitting you, you know, constantly jostling for space. You want it to just line up and let those rabbits break the wind for you. Here we go, coming through the first lap, and I do have notes there. I believe it was right on pace, 60.7 for the first lap. Just absolute perfect pacing. And oftentimes rabbits don't get enough credit when they do the job right. These rabbits look like they're gonna do a perfect job. And simultaneously, athletes don't get enough credit, or they don't get enough, I don't want to say hate. They don't get reprimanded enough when they do the job wrong. It's not that hard to rabbit. Most of these athletes should be able to hit a split to the quarter second, or at least the half second, when they're out in training. And there's a clock every single 100 meters on this track, so you just glance down, you should be able to see how close you are to pace. But I do want to just really say props to the rabbits for their ability to hit this pace so specifically. 60.7 for the first lap. Here on their second lap, 61.7. They vary by no less than maybe a second at most. Here they came through the second lap in 61.7. That actually ends up being their slowest lap of the entire race. This is 61.7. Here they get back on pace a little bit, 60.64. And you can see how they're working together. The rabbits, one will be hired to go, again, I haven't seen the race yet, but one will be hired to go less. So here he goes, he's stepping off at a K. And now you've got another rabbit coming up to take the lead. So the rabbits will help the other rabbits get farther and farther. And I think the final rabbit actually ends up making it, I want to say, close to 2 miles or even to 4K. We'll see. But that's what these rabbits have been hired to do. And they're going to get paid very, very well for this. And it's actually not uncommon when a world record's set, because there's usually huge bonuses for doing that, it's not uncommon for the person who sets the world record to tip out the rabbits, to give them a cash bonus for doing their job well. This is cool. This is what you got to love about track and field. Now we have Mondo Duplantis out here. What an incredible, talented kid. Oh my gosh, I think he was actually going for a record at meeting Hercules here as well. Just phenomenal talent. I can't wait to see what he does. You know, and that reminds me that right now in August is when the Olympic Games, when Olympic Tokyo 2020 was supposed to go down. But of course, due to COVID, it was pushed back to Tokyo 2021. What you've got to think is that many of these athletes have been on a periodization schedule. They've adjusted their training so that in 2020, they could be absolutely on top of their game, specifically in August. And many of these athletes didn't get a chance to showcase their fitness, didn't get a chance to showcase all the hard work that they had done. August 2020 was what many of these athletes, including Duplantis, including Cheptegei, they've been training for this for so long and trying to peak for this exact month. You know, that's why I'm not that surprised to see world records, and in this case a world lead in the pole vault, falling, because I know how hard these athletes have been working. I know how hard they've been tapering and prepping for this exact moment in time. Here we go. We have the high jump. You know, I mentioned how much I love track and field. As a spectator, I think it's a phenomenal sport because we get this opportunity. There's always something going on. If you're in the stands, there's pole vault, there's discus, there's shot put, there's high jump. There's always something going on, and it's a fascinating sport. You know, there's no downtime ever. There's always something going on to be watching. You know, and that makes me look at the stands. Look at the stands here. You'll see they're almost empty. I'm sure that has to do with COVID. I'm sure that has to do with just wanting to make sure that people are socially distancing. You'll also notice that most of the people in the stands, they're wearing a mask. It kind of takes away some of the magic of Monaco, and I know they need to do that to be safe, but here another rabbit steps off. Monaco is such, and a lot of the European Diamond League meetings, they're so incredible because the energy that comes from having that stadium packed, it's deafening, and it really gets you excited. As these athletes, here we see one last rabbit, and he's struggling a little bit. He's probably going to step off here pretty quick. As these athletes were going from the meet hotel to this track, they take shuttle buses that go from, I can't remember which hotel it was, but they go from the meet hotel to this track. It's about a 2 or 3 mile drive. And as they go along the waterfront, they see all these billionaire and millionaire yachts and boats. And you see Ferraris and Lamborghinis pulling up to the stadium. And you just feel like, I want to be successful so bad. You know that the meet director has done everything possible to make this a fast race. The track is so fast, and all your competitors are here to run fast times. It just lights a fire in you to say, do not waste this opportunity. Give it everything you got. Even if you go out on suicide pace and you die a horrible death, it's worth it, because every once in a while when you step on this track, magical things can happen. Again, I ran several PRs on this track. So 6:18, it looked like... boy, the rabbit stepped off a lot earlier than I expected to. And now we have Joshua Cheptegei out here, 6:30, on his own. He does have some help behind him. I mean, he's got competitors pushing him. But he's going to have to lead. That was 6 laps. He's going to have to lead, is it 6 more laps by himself? I mean, that's absolutely incredible. You know, again, I told you I hadn't watched this race until now. My jaw is on the floor. Look at how fluid he is. And to have only had help through 6 laps, I mean, how is he going to do this? I actually, you know, we all know how this ends, but I'm looking at the splits, and the guy is as close to a metronome as you will ever see. 60.91, 60.03, 60.1, 60, 60, 60, 60. Until he starts winding up his kick with 800 to go, it's like he physically can't not run 60 seconds. And that's 4-minute miling. He's just like, I don't even have words to how to describe how incredible his performance is. I mean, if you've gone out, many of you have gone out and run a 5K. I think my personal best in the 5K is 15:49, you know, and this is just so far beyond that. It's so far beyond comprehension for me that he has that kind of ability. 23 years old, from Uganda. He normally trains in Europe, as many of the elites do. But due to COVID, I believe he actually went back and trained in Uganda, and he said how nice it was to be back with his family. You know, the simplicity of Uganda. Uganda only has one, I believe, one rubber track in the entire country. You know, that he was able to go back to such a, you know, for him, an unusual and simple setup, and just put his head down and do the work that he needed to do to come out and ultimately make the most of this opportunity. You know, and you'll hear me on this channel and on my main channel, Nick Symmonds, I'll link that right here if you want to see those viral videos. You'll see me oftentimes referring to an opportunity, and I say, don't waste this opportunity. And that's the kind of mantra I want all young runners to have. When you step on the track, look at Joshua Cheptegei pulling away here. In his mind, in your mind, when you're standing on the track, I want you to say, do not waste this opportunity. Every single time that you step on the track, it is an opportunity for you to change your life. You could run a huge PR, you could win a state title, get recruited by a college coach, get recruited by Nike or Adidas or Reebok into a pro contract, or as Joshua Cheptegei is about to do here, change what we thought human beings were capable of. Now, 16 years ago, Kenenisa Bekele did the same thing. In 2004, he ran 12:37 and redefined for humans what we are capable of as a species of doing for 12.5 laps. And I know that that time was etched in young Joshua's mind. He probably thought to himself, boy, I wonder if one day I could take a crack at that. And here he goes. Look at those shoes. I don't know what type of shoes he's wearing. I have some great subscribers, and I'm sure many of you do know that. Let me know in the comments below, what shoes did he choose to wear? And is it a prototype? And can they still wear prototypes in record races like this? I don't think that you can wear prototypes. I'll have to double check my notes on that. But you know, getting back to the race, here he is, and he's got less than a mile to go now, and he knows he's on pace. I haven't seen it yet, but there's actually a light bar that runs along the straightaways. It's a new addition to the European Diamond League meetings. They have a light bar on the track that will show you, in this case, the world record pace. And I'll bring it up if I see it again. But he, on the straightaways, he can actually see that light moving alongside him. And he knows, kind of like a ghost runner, he knows exactly where Bekele's record would put him. And how much he needs to either accelerate or just maintain pace in order to be there. You know, there's that light bar. You see it right behind his heels. He's got 2-3 meters on the light bar. It's incredible. You know that he's on pace to run the world record. Oh my God, and it actually looks like it goes beyond just the straightaway. I can see it going into the curve there. So he knows he's got to stay dialed in, 60, 60, 60. If he can keep that pace, he is going to run the world record. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. He makes it look so easy. Here's that light bar. So he doesn't need to look over his shoulder. He knows he's ahead of it. If in his peripheral he sees that light come up, he knows he has to speed up. What an incredible addition for both the spectator and for the competitors. An incredible addition. And as we as a sport try to bring track and field into the 21st century, these are the kind of things we need to make it more spectator friendly. People need to know what, in this case, Joshua Cheptegei is going for. We need to have gambling like they do in Zurich. That actually exists. If you go to Zurich, you can place a bet on the track and field athletes just like you would at a horse race. Here you go. 1 lap to go. He's gone 59.97. He's sub 60 pace. He is running sub 4-minute pace right now after already running nearly 3 miles. Can he keep this pace? He has to stay on that pace. He has to, I think he has to run 61 here if he's going to break the world record, and he knows it. Look at this silky smooth running form though. Here the other competitors are cheering him on. I think they know what's on the line here. And the crowd normally would be getting to their feet. They normally would be deafening in this case. Joshua's going to have to do it by himself here. 200 meters to go. He's still on pace. He needs to run sub 30 if he's going to be able to do it. Has he gone out too hard? He's done so much work by himself. There's no way that he can possibly continue this pace for another 100 meters. but man, he looks so smooth. I mean, this is where you know it hurts, but he's able to maintain that form. This is years and years of time in the weight room, of time running, of focusing on that form. You see him grimacing a little bit. He looks up, hits his watch, and there's the smile. 12:35. That's a sub 60 last lap. 12:35.37. A new world record. I can't believe we just witnessed that. I mean, first of all, how cool that we get a chance to watch the replay like this. The crowd knows what they've just seen. Absolutely incredible. I gotta pause it right here. My heart's just racing. I mean, this is so cool to watch. Couple things that jump out at me. One, this was done in a Diamond League meeting without rabbits. And as we talked about, there's huge advantages to that. But maybe the disadvantage is that you don't get that incredible moment like we saw with David Rudisha in 2012. When you do it in a Olympic or World Games, the crowd, it's a big crowd and billions of people out there watching. I don't think that takes anything away from what he was doing. I just know as an athlete, I remember a couple of my biggest moments happening in front of smaller crowds like this, and it almost feels a little bit anticlimactic because you've been dreaming of this moment for so long, and it's almost like kind of quiet, and you're like, well, I thought this would be bigger. I thought there'd be cannons going off and fireworks, but I'm sure that he is just takes so much personal satisfaction in what he was able to do here. I have 3 notes written down that I was thinking about before I watched this, and I thought that watching this would maybe give me some clarification, and it hasn't, so I want to bring up 3 post-race notes that we should discuss, and maybe we can have a more detailed discussion in the comments below. Number 1, I mentioned it earlier, what shoes was he wearing? It's weird that in 2020 we have to ask that question, but with the explosion of shoe technology and primarily the introduction of carbon fiber, we're seeing incredible performances, and it begs the question initially, well, what shoes was he wearing? On the roads we're often looking at Vaporflies or Alpha Flies. I mentioned prototypes may not be allowed in competition anymore. I'm genuinely curious, what shoes was he wearing? And if you do know the make and model, obviously they're Nikes, but if you know the model, let me know in the comments below and we can discuss that. I don't think that takes anything away from this performance. I'm just curious. Number 2, I mentioned it again in the video, the Olympics. These athletes were preparing for this for so long. I mean, they've been peaking, and when I talk about a periodization, oftentimes I'm talking about periodizing for a season, but people also periodize for an Olympic cycle. The way they prepare for an Olympic Games, that begins 4 years, 4 years behind today, or when this race happened. These athletes have been periodizing their training for years and years to be ready for August 2020, and not for the Monaco Diamond League, nothing against the Monaco Diamond League. They've been periodizing their training for the 2020 Olympic Games, which did not take place. In many ways, this meet did end up being the 2020 Olympic Games. And that makes me wonder, what kind of things did athletes that maybe weren't, how do I want to phrase this? Athletes that didn't have the moral fiber of some of the other ones. I'm talking about drugs. It's a dirty secret, and it's becoming not so secret anymore, that there are athletes in professional track and field that do it the wrong way, and they use performance-enhancing drugs. Now, USADA, WADA, all the anti-doping administration, they do their best to catch the drug cheats, and I'm so glad that they're doing that, but it's often a bit of a cat and mouse game, and during the pandemic of 2020, it's been incredibly difficult for in-person testing to take place. I want to be very, very clear when I say this. I am not implying that this record is dirty in any way. I am not implying that Joshua Cheptegei has done drugs. I would never presume that an athlete has done drugs. And in 20 years as a competitive runner and 12 as a pro, I never witnessed any of these athletes doing drugs. But you see subsequent years later, athletes test positive. It begs the question, what kind of drug testing is taking place? And I'm wondering, how many times has Joshua Cheptegei been drug tested in the last, let's call it 6 months? Again, not implying anything, just curious. The fact that he was running world-class times long before the lockdown, long before the pandemic. Again, I mentioned that he ran that 10K road race world record December 1, 2019 in Valencia, and the 5K road world record February 16, 2020 again in Monaco. He's been running so well for so long, and when you see that happening, when you see that consistency, that, in my mind, really quiets down the drug rumors. But again, I'm not implying anything. I do not want to start controversy when I'm saying I hope that this record was clean, because something about a world record just inspires us as a species. It redefines what we thought we were capable as a species, and I am just so inspired by this performance. 12:35:36, a new world record. Congratulations, Joshua. You've inspired me. And if you guys like this type of video, this is the type of content that I want to be creating on this new channel, Nick Symmonds 2. Tomorrow is the first Ask Nick, and it's going to be a good one. I think you're really going to like this question. It's very valid for where we are at in society today. If you want more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. Smash the subscribe button. See you guys soon.